Images released by the World Health Organization show the scale of the damage to Gaza's Al-Ahli hospital after yesterday's Israeli airstrike. Israel gave a 20-minute warning before the attack, which destroyed a two-story laboratory and caused massive damage to the emergency department. It leaves just two other hospitals in Gaza's north, both operating at less than 20% of capacity.
We will need weeks to restore the place, and in some parts, maybe months. There is a major problem in the radiology and laboratory departments. The damaged equipment cannot be replaced because of the blockade imposed on the Strip.
Israel said without providing evidence that it had targeted a Hamas command and control center. Further south, the aftermath of another strike in Khan Yunis. Again, a warning to leave before a tented encampment for displaced people was bombed.
There were 150 tents here, 150 families. There are no tents left. There's nothing left. Our homes were destroyed. Our tents were destroyed. What will we do next? Where will we go?
All of this adding to the already grave concerns about Gaza's humanitarian situation.
For over 1 month now, no aid, no supply, no electricity, no a crust of bread has entered Gaza. Access is completely blocked by Israel. Food is running out while warehouses outside Gaza are full with food is rotting there because we can't get in.
The EU among those calling for an immediate ceasefire. The latest talks in Egypt breaking up without a breakthrough. Hamas, though, reported to be reviewing an Israeli proposal for 10 Israeli hostages to be released at the beginning of a 45-day pause. Major sticking points remain, but the proposal is reported to include the resumption of humanitarian aid into Gaza.
Well, the Irish trauma surgeon, Dr. Morgan McMonagle, recently got back from a 6-week humanitarian mission working in Gaza's Nasser hospital. He joins me now from Waterford. Good evening. What do you think the impact of the bombing of the Al-Ahli hospital will be?
The bombing is absolutely massive. And in fact, I was lucky enough to have visited Al-Ahli hospital in Gaza City while we spent time in Nasser hospital. And it was already struggling to regain a good foothold, in managing the people of the Gaza Strip, because you have to remember over 1.5 million people were internally displaced down to the south, to Khan Yunis and Rafah, and now they were, since the ceasefire started in January, they were slowly making their way back up north, and the hospitals were slowly starting to manage what we might call neglected surgical disease, conditions that people were unable to present to hospital with, like advanced cancers and diabetes and diabetic foot, as well as a lot of complex war-related tertiary and quaternary effects of the war from previous gunshot wounds and blasts. I was in Nasser hospital the night it was hit as well. And even though amazingly and miraculously only 2 people were killed, it is absolutely amazing that nobody else was injured, but the entire ward was put out of action. Structurally, it was unsound for anybody to be in there other than construction workers. The very fact that since the blockade of aid and food and energy to desalinize the water, medicines have been blocked since the 2nd of March. And even though NGOs did stockpile for a certain number of weeks, we could see every single day food and supplies were getting less and less and less quality, less quantity.
So what is available? I mean, what hospitals are available to people in Gaza?
Well, I believe before the current conflict, there was about 36 hospitals that were functioning. Now there's 22 that are only partially functioning. What I've been told from people who are on the ground, they're less than 20% functioning, most of these hospitals. So you can't take care of normal disease, normal conditions, never mind the conflict-related conditions, which are mostly blast-related. And the problem with a blast-related injury is it doesn't just affect one system or one part of the body, it affects all parts of the body and all teams. Even when I was there were specialists traveling from North Gaza and Gaza City down to Khan Yunis and down to Rafah. So they're spread out. So manpower is spread very thin on the ground, as well as a lack of supplies. So really it is more and more suffering on the ordinary people of Gaza. Yeah. And remember, keep in mind that about 50% of the population of Gaza is under 14 years of age.
Now, the Israelis say that this Al-Ahli hospital had Hamas sort of control center in it somehow, and that's why they bombed it. They said in the Nasser hospital where you were working that there was a Hamas leader using it as a base rather than being treated for wounds. What can you say about your time there in terms of what you saw? As you know, did you see Hamas there?
Oh, look, there was a time when every person with an Irish accent was a member of the IRA as well. I mean, as a humanitarian, I'm impartial and I'm neutral. But let's pretend for a moment there was a risk of a terrorist person or people being there. You still don't bomb healthcare facilities. And it goes against the Rome Statute of 1998. And motive is irrelevant. Motive is absolutely relevant. It's the intent to destroy a healthcare facility, regardless of what you think your motive might be. That goes against all international and humanitarian law.
Dr. McMonagle, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.